Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and today I'm joined with the two of my panelists, Miguda and Ayaga. Habari ya jioni nyinyi wa Kenya ama wangwana.
Sisi ni wangwana.
Eh, Ayaga, habari ya leo?
Mzuri sana. How are you? How have you been? Najua nimepotea kidogo but ni hali ya kawaida.
Unajua lazima mwanaume lazima utafute. Ukipotea hivyo tunajua labda unatafuta mihela.
Yeah.
Okay, sawa sawa. Miguda, how are you doing, sir?
I'm very good, my fellow co-host, and Ayaga. How are you? Long time.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Today is that day that we want to look at what is trending, especially in the country. We call it the state or the politician versus the church. For I think it's about 2 to 3 days, we've had back and forth between the church, especially, and the presidency, or with the state, where the president um, has been called out by the bishops about the challenges that the country is going through and what Kenyans are facing, and the allies or the soldiers of the president actually responded to the church, especially Gladys Boscholey and Oscar Sudi too responded. And even if you are very keen in the internet, you will see quite a number of government officials as calling out the church and tell them you should preach, don't meddle in the politics to get that popularity. And that went like that. Then the president also attended. It was a graduation of one of the Catholic church, and he kind of like lashed them out on their stand on the all the pressure they gave. Later, he went to Embu. Then on Sunday, he was in Soweto, where he donated some money, and some of those donation has been rejected by the Catholic Church. Also, the same Sunday, he sent his deputy to one of the churches in Sagana, where a total of 7 million was donated. And I think the deputy president said this is an offering. It should be reported as an offering. So that is where we are. So my question to you, Ayaga, as somebody who is uh, a Catholic, why did you have to return the money, my friend? You don't need the money.
In Catholic, you return the money unless the money, if the money was not given in a good faith.
Yeah.
You can't go mock the Catholic Church and then on the following Sunday you there, then you say you're good to them. And one of them, you heard the president's statement at the university. He said, unless you accuse people of things that even will affect you. So I think president's statement break away the relationship between him generally and most of church leaders, and the response from the MPs allied to the president, mostly the ones who are very close to the president. They are the people who are causing that rift. So the Catholic has just chose to dance the music that they are playing. And I think it is a good gesture from the church. We can't have a church complaining of the Arambes and the misuse of public money, and the same churches receives that money in a warm heart. We must call a spade, and it is time that we are tired as Kenyans. We are very tired. I think if somebody can call a revolution today, people of all walks of life will come out. And even you saw people telling Ruto today, you clear Wende, finish your term, then go. We don't need even anything from you. It's very sad affair in our country today as we speak.
Okay, thank you very much. We will come and discuss more into detail about the conversation. Mr. Migudam, Why do you think the money was rejected?
The money was rejected, and the money must be rejected. The reason could be, the Catholic Council of Bishops. One of the things they called out when they called that presser was corruption. And corruption, the person who was accused here was the president. And they have been saying that this government is corrupt. And there have been even rumors that the money which has been donated to churches in form of gift, even which has been given to the bishops in form of cars, even some which they have been built for them homes, those are product of corruption. And when president legislatures responded to the Catholic pressers, the way they responded, Oscar called out Bishop to be a tribal figure. The president went to Soweto on Sunday to sanitize his allies by giving the church the money. At first point, why was he giving that cash? Is it that was he was giving that cash so that he can sanitize the legislatures, or he was giving out that cash so that the people will tell the Catholic people you are calling out corruption at the same time you are receiving money from the corrupt leader. So it was very much in order for them to return that money so that they can live by example that we are calling out corruption. At the same time, we cannot accept that money which has come from the corrupt leaders. I think that is why that money was returned so that they can live, for by example, to the church members.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me welcome our viewers. Judith, thank you so much. Gibson Connor, thank you so much. Brenda, thank you so much. Ayaga, Gibson Connor is saying, Eric, you look different from your voice.
I can see Gibson ameanza kunikoroga. That's why I always hide my face, because I know we don't look alike between my voice and my face.
And Judith is saying, same case. I was wondering who is this guy until Benson called him Ayaga. So, so okay, thank you very much. Let's look at this. We know ever since the deputy president was inaugurated, or there was that uh, Kindiki being the deputy president, within even a month, he could produce 2 million into contribution. And this is his first salary. And if you look at the salary of the deputy president, it doesn't even reach to that 2 million. What does it say, Ayaga?
I think there is too much opulence that we have been complaining about. And the money that goes to church, most of them is corrupt money. It is not hard cash, hard fetch cash money. The money you look for with the sweat, it is not. It's very different. And that's why we need now, as the country and as the people of Kenya, we need to question. You can't be earning a salary of 100,000, for example, then you go to a church every Sunday and give 1 million. There is a money laundering that politicians are doing in Kenya. And the best way to be rich in Kenya is just to get elected. Once you are elected, you can even see the people who went there with nothing, like Toto and the another one from Meru. I don't know the name of that young man. But nowadays, those are the rich buddies in Kenya. But in other countries, even like in the US, you get a United States president can be the poorest of poorest. Obama is not even among the top 100 richest people in that country. But in most of African country, president must be the richest human being in that country. If you go to Uganda, you go to South Africa, anywhere in Africa. And that's where the problem of Africa and the problem of Kenya, to be particular, is that you have to look for money. Because number one, what we do, we don't sell policies, we bribe people.
Okay. So thank you so much. And Miguda, about the deputy president giving 2 million, um, he has not earned even his first salary, and he would give, and he was even giving directives and say that should be our offering. But when you offer, especially we call it sadaka, when you give sadaka, does it mean that it should always be known that this is amount that I'm giving, or it should be between you and that ushering offering box?
In my view, whenever you give out, even it's clear in the Christian Bible that whatever the right hand has given out, the left hand should not. So there is no need for people to know whether you have given offering or not. And when Kindiki is giving out such amount before even finishing 2 months, because if it's a matter of salary, maybe he's earning 1 million. So he needs to get like 2 months in office for him to earn like 2 million. Then you cannot donate all your salaries because you have also your expenses. You
Mm.
don't need, you can take all salary to the offering. And even if it's offering, God say that give me 1/10. I don't think if 2 million is 1/10 for someone. In my view, I want to look at it that the guy is being coached by William Ruto on how to launder money or on how to go to the people through church. He's being introduced through church because the guy is not popular. So he's just being told that for you to capture the attention of the people, you must do these things. He's being taught how to deal with the people when it comes to politics, that you must meet people at the church level, you must donate, you must announce your donation, it must hit headlines for you to be relevant politically, because the guy was not even relevant when he came to office as the deputy president. William Ruto has this culture of going to churches, announcing whatever he has given out as offering, and that's how he captured the attention of the people of Mount Kenya. So the guy is being told that for you to get popular, because the guy is unpopular, the guy is popular than him. So he's being told that for you to be relevant or become popular among the people of Mount Kenya, you must be someone who can give out. They must see you like someone who can give out as a leader. So it's just being trained for him to be relevant with the president. And the question we are asking, this money, where is it coming from? Because people have been questioning about this money, and why can't they even take that money to, today I went to a certain cyber cafe today. So when I was in that cyber cafe, I found old men, averagely 75 to 80s.
Mhm.
They were registering this shift. To me, Migoda, we are here with shift. I asked them, is it true that this money to these old people, 2 million to them, it can even assist 20,000 people to register this share shift thing, because there are those people who are paying minimum even 100 bob. So I don't know why these people are possessed about donating to the churches rather than even assisting these old people to incorporate their name into the share shift. So in my view, maybe this money is being used to make Kindiki popular among the people through church, because churches, they go church to every Sunday, weekly basis, or Kindiki has joined the bandwagon whereby they launder money in that executive.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And Ayaga, this is my question to you, because you in a period of 3 days, because remember he gave 300. Sakaja almost gave 600. That is almost 9. Then there was a promise of 5 million that was supposed to be picked either on Monday or Tuesday, based on what he said. Then when the one that he sent me, the deputy president with was 7, I mean was 5, and deputy president gave 2. So in a span of 1 week, a total of 12 million, it is 11 point something, almost 12 million, came out from a political class. Yet, if you come to Nairobi, there are so many challenges that Nairobians are going through, even including the road that they used to access the the church. And Sakaja is still giving out 600. Is he not seeing the road that he used so he can use the money to make to prepare that road? Why should he just give it to the church?
Um, The reason is being because our politics is not an issue based or ideologically based.
Mm.
Our politics is a bribe. We are being bribed to do things. Even the people who voted for William Ruto, majority of them were being bribed. Even those pastors and bishops, some of them today they get a little bit hot discussion or criticism that they deserve when they were accepting the money
Mm.
from William Ruto around in 2022, when the same man was undermining the administration then in Kenya. They were very happy and very juvenile about it, and they called the person our candidate. William was church candidate. Remember that tag has not been removed. He was a church candidate, and even the church have not, and that's why immediately after election, when the people are still having a dispute about the election, they had rushed to him. They are the people who ushered him in State House. They pray. They have a very big bash there. I can't call it a prayer. That was a bash. A congregant of bishops went and pastors. They went there and they did a very big bash. And that's why our problem is how much money do Kenya need to move? Like that 13 million, it was about 13 million. How that 13 million alone, if you go to Kenyatta today, the majority of Kenya are suffering. And I had my brother Megoda is talking about chief. It's a scam. I was registering mine the other day, and I'm told there is no money because that one with the NHIF, it ended like that. So I had to pay again to start from point zero, of which now, even as I speak, I used to pay. And the last time they deduct me was around 30th September. Now from 30th September, I have nothing. I have to pay from that month, or if I register today, moving forward, which I think is a little bit hectic. People are asking, where did the other one went to?
Mhm.
Why can't you, if you are migrating people, migrate them with at least some of their resources? The problem Kenyans are asking is, why are you migrating us? Even if you want to do so, give me my insurance back. I had insurance, I was paying for it. Some were being deducted more money to it. Then you tell me it is over today. It went like that. You have to start again because some people, we are being lied to that some people in government will pay for us. Bernard Benson, remember this trick of William Ruto's politics. He started it in before 2022, I think. This guy is a divisive character. He's doing what we call the class politics. He always use poor to punish the rich. And in the course, the poor believed him at first in 2022. And those poor, so-called hustlers, actually overwhelmingly voted for him. Then after that, he dumped them. He went to Darling with the rich. He's now coming with same trick that, those poor rich people will pay more money and will pay for who? For the poor. The same is with housing project. But we are deducting from the working class and building houses for poor. That is always this trick of politics that I think if they have not changed, if they will not change it, the Kenyans have learned. And I think Kenyans are like people who live in my village, back in Akwom village, that snake will never bite you twice in your lifetime. Snake never bites twice. So if they are trying to use the same trick to trick Kenya again in 2022, we are very sorry for them.
Now, there's also something that we really picked from the president during the Soweto, and this is concerning even how the money was rejected because they said that he will build a primary school, yeah, in the same field. He will build a TVET, and there will be a classroom and a stadium. And in his speech, I quote, he told Hinga to start that work tomorrow. So my question is, how does that work? How does that implementation works? was this money allocated or it was just somewhere? Then you're telling of building this Tivet and stadium. And you remember, even in the Jubilee, is promised some of the stadiums. Until today, those stadiums are not there. So how sure are we, or how sure were the congregant that the stadium will be there, the classroom will be there? Yet even right now, in the universities, students have gone without attending classes because there's a strike. Me good.
I don't know why it's urgent for him to build classrooms for the primary, and even the people who are going to junior secondary do not have the infrastructure. There are no infrastructure in public schools for the junior secondary across the country. And there's no urgency for building the TVET because in that region, because even people are not being taught in those TVET because we have strike right now. And there's no reason for building a stadium, and yet we have ongoing structures which are incomplete. And we are going to host the HAFCON. And I don't know why they were going to. These things we understand them. How do you make a roadshow declaration or a roadshow budget? Because the process of budget making process is outlined in the constitution. And William Ruto, being the president, is so in to uphold and respect and defend the constitution. How is he respecting and upholding that constitution with this broadside declaration? To have, what has happened? Of late, I've done a certain research. After the budget making process in parliament, what the president usually do, he goes across the country to follow the process it was made by the members of parliament, and he's going to those regions the way he went to Migori to Sunai's constituency, and he's telling the people that I'm going to construct this road from point A to point B. Remember that road is not constructing it. That was made in parliament by the budget committee. That is what he has been doing across the country. But these projects have been incomplete. So how was this TVET, primary classes and stadium, how did they make those budgets? How did they even come from for instance, the issue of stadium from the cabinet secretary for sports, and how was it related to the county government, even when it was supposed to be built by county government? How does it link the county and the national government? How does it link the parliament, the budget committee? How does it link the cabinet secretary for sport? This is a pure lie, and a roadshow declaration doesn't mean that it's going to be implemented. So, and he was appealing to the congregants. That's now where he was making a grave mistake. I will agree partially with Brother Ayaga that, and yesterday I said this one, they are targeting the lowly regarded in the society. I know the lowly regarded in the society, they resonate so well with the religion, and they believe, there's some people believe that William Ruto is the Alpha and Omega, but that's not the case. There are those people who believe in those lies. There's those people who believe that once he made a declaration as the president, it will automatically become to conclusion, which is not the case. So with him, he's just comfortable lying to people and make those roadside declaration. He doesn't mind the aftermath. That is not in his schedule. What is after just to make those declaration, then he can get out of that crowd, then target another crowd. That's why I was glad when that money was rejected, because there is no way this person is the same person who want to prove to the people that I'm not corrupt. So it was like he wanted to make the Catholic Church to look bad, that you can't criticize corruption and you take that money of corruption. Whatever he did, that was just a roadside declaration. It doesn't amount to anything.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, I want you to assist us also understand the politics of tokenism, or if not tokenism, the politics of bribing. We've always seen this issue where every time, even including the rallies, where politicians will always ferry people to go and represent them or to go and attend their rallies, And the issue of brown envelope, it has always been an issue that has always been discussed in our party, in our country, especially. Now, And you find like this one always happen when you tend to have different view with what is being said, you know. So when you saw the Catholic bishops came out in large number and say, okay, they are pointing out, and immediately there was that encounter where now the president attended this church and ended up giving these promises and paying money. Does it mean that you want them to be on your side or not? That is one. And I can also give you another scenario. Remember when there was Gen Z protest? During that Gen Z protest, the LSK president, Faith, was trending. And immediately, the president appointed her to be part of that committee that was going to investigate the debt and give the report about the status of our debt. Why is that one so trend with the president?
I think before I answer that, let me come into the declaration of building a stadium in Jacaranda. You know, those who have been in Nairobi a little bit will tell you that the reason why that stadium, why that ground is empty, that land has a lot of issues. Because according to around the 1980s, Moi gave that land to Gor Mahia, and Gor Mahia should build their stadium there as a club.
Oh.
So I think there is a push and back between a private investor who claimed the same land and Moi also gave the land to Gor Mahia. So it is a case that Hinga is going to do nothing there. That is a pure lie. You are lying in the church when you in the pulpit. You are lying to the Kenyans who knows things, because that land is not empty in a busy Soweto region, not because it lacks something that can be built there. Yeah, so that alone tells you that there is a case about that land and nothing can happen in that land. Let me say, I think what our politicians are doing is that if you want to rule people, you make them poor. And when you make them poor, they depend on you. And when they depend on you, if you give them even 1,000 or 2,000 Kenyan money, they worship you. And that is the act of politics that Ruto is playing. It is an act of politics that has its time. And it is a time-taking bomb. Because somebody once said you can fool people for some times, but you will never fool them always. And that is what causes the revolution in France. If you go through the history of democracy in France, a king fooled people with a cake or a bread up to some point. And then people say enough is enough. And that is what we are saying. We have been fooled into a tokenism. A tokenism is only something you eat for night. You don't know what you will eat tomorrow breakfast. You don't care what you will eat at lunchtime, and you don't know even where you will be sleeping the following night. That is it's called hand to mouth. That is the life many Kenya has been subjected to intentionally, not by fault, intentionally by our politicians. And that's why you can see now Kenyans are a little bit bitter with the political class. Even the Raila, who used to be the defender of human rights or whatever, is weak. Kenyans are much equally, they have speculation with Raila Odinga himself and this style of politics. Your second question was about what, Benson? I can't hear you.
I'm saying
Mute.
when
Benson, mute.
okay, when you tend to disagree or when you're doing well, you find that the president would want to have you on your side, or if you criticize him, you know, because we saw that with Faith, the LSK president, when she was there with the guys who were being taken to cells during that demonstration. She worked the whole night, and the following day we had the president appointed a committee which she was part of to investigate the state of our debt. Then again, today, when now the Catholics were trying to disagree with him and pointing out the challenges that Kenyans are facing through. Now you see you're coming in terms of rewarding, yeah, so that they can be on your side, because that's what I think. What is your take on that?
That is a blackmail tactics. It is blackmailing the leaders who defends. And that's where Raila Odinga has found himself. That every time he went out and defend Kenyans, they call him for handshake. They say, come here. Let us now do this. Bring your people. Let us do this. Then after that, he will go, he will be quiet. Because, you know, there are certain offices that if they want to smear you, you know, ukienda mahali watu wamechinja hippopotamus and they are wanachinja hiyo hippopotamus, what they do is they smear you with the blood. So the appointment is, number one, to silence you, and if you will continue speak, they will create a corruption in the said docket or department or parastatal where you are given, and you will be blamed on it. And that's how many people has been silent by the government. You remember the story of Sonko. Sonko said when he was elected as governor, he found around 300,000 in his office, cash money. And when he asked, the money is about what? What was he told? That's yours. You just have it. And that's why I was telling my brother Miguda, you see, if Kindiki is not part of the system, anaingizwa kwa system, hata yeye sahii na hii ofisi unajipata tu hapo kwa ofisi yake hapo Harambee Annex, unaona briefcase imeingia na pesa. He must go and give it out. Number one, he doesn't know where that money come from. He doesn't care who brought it. The thing you are only told, you are covered. So even if something bad is being pushed to Kenyans, you have to be in the side of government. And that's what William Ruto is complaining, that in his government, he seems he's the only one who is defending his government.
Yeah.
Rigathi Gachagua was not doing the same. But I'm not also seeing the CSS who are going out to defend the same government. So I don't know, maybe they have been silent or they are against what is going on.
Okay, thank you so much. Miguda, we were with you, or I think you were part of the conversation that we had with one of our guests from Jacaranda, and he talked of something. And I think it's not only the president that is using the tokenism for the political process, especially in the country, but it's all the politicians, you know. But they do it. Maybe the president has done it in a large scale, but the other politicians, maybe who might be doing it in a smaller scale that does not surface. Remember when we had a conversation with one person from Bunge Jacaranda, and he said that sometimes they are being called to go for the protest. At the end of the day, it's 30,000 and you have a group of people. So by the time this 30,000 is shared, you end up having 50 shillings and you go on the street. Miguda, if you take that narrative that our guest was saying with what has happened, what does it speak about the politicians?
Politicians have successfully managed to control the people. You know, majority of the people in the country are not well off, or majority are hailing from low class, and that is where their target is. If you heard what our guest told us, even me, I never knew that people do go demonstrations and they are being paid. Me, I knew that it was voluntarily, that you just get up from a house, you go and demonstrate and protest against bad governance, and that's how it should be, not that you are being paid. So people are being paid to understand that it told us that 50 bob. So 50 bob, someone is going to demonstrate because he has been paid 50 bob. And you can ask yourself, what can 50 bob do for you or for a person? I don't know what people can do for you. So the politicians have capitalized on the common people, and those people who are lowly regarded. That's where they invest their money. But you know, if you can pick a random number, then
Yeah.
you can even put like 50, 30,000. It's a small money because it can't solve their problem. Tomorrow they'll still come for you, and that's why you heard that when someone is going to the village, for those people who do their politics in the village, when they go to the back to the village, they can divide even 100K. They put it into 50 bob. So they give each and every person 50 bob. They keep you in your status. You keep on singing them. When they come, you follow them. When they are in burial, you follow them. To an extent that you even form divisions among you. And remember, when this person goes back to Nairobi in parliament or in the current resident, you people, you are still living in the village. You share the same food, you share the same road. Your kids go to the same school in the village, but you are divided among these politicians who, when they are in parliament, they are united. In current, they are united. They are still go to the same school, but they have divided you, and they have managed to divide you because of their tokenism. That's why we have said, as the people of Kenya or as the common people, we should not be allowed do not allow this politician to divide us. The happiness is to see them when the people are divided. They are managing people that's such amount of money to an extent that you can do things which some people cannot imagine. Remember when our guest was telling us those things, even you are shocked because we have never heard about such things. That's why, to an extent, you find that whenever they have access religion bases, that is the churches, that's why you can find those majority of the people. And majority of the people believe that religion is the solution to all problems. So we even as we go to church, but you find that the people who are lowly regarded, I like to that the word lowly regarded, that is what also Jesus used in the Bible. Most of them go to church. So that is where they go and get their attention of the audience. Even in the marketplaces. And that's why Ruto capitalized on the Mama Mboga and Boda Boda. Mama Mboga use collective those people who are in the marketplaces. So these people have been divided by politicians on the particular interest. So they have successfully managed to divide the people with this tokenism. That's why they cannot relent using it because it is working for them and it has worked for them.
Okay, thank you, Ayaga. And we thank you, Miguda. Now, Ayaga, as much as we might be talking about the politicians, but we cannot go without talking about the congregants or the people who have come to church. Because remember, when such like donations are being given, you find the congregants are clapping, you know, and they celebrate, you know. At what point will they have that knowledge and say that, okay, what is being done is not right? Because even for instance, when they were donating those uniforms, you know, they were donating that money for uniforms. Some of the parents, their kids do not have uniform. Some of the parents, their kids, or some of the parents, when it comes to things to do with accessing better education, they do not have they cannot access that. There's also something to do with health. But you find now that when the money is donated, they cheer. That is one. What can we say about the congregants also? Because we cannot just only blame the leadership. What about the congregants? At what point will they have that political literacy and say, okay, enough is enough, we are not doing this? That is one. Then secondly, take for example, especially if you go back to your village, there are these indigenous churches, the churches that are our own, the African, yeah. When you go to the villages, that are always a regional. For instance, I can give you, like, my mom is a raw, but raw is mostly associated, with with that, and they do have very less population. Why is it so much difficult for the leaders to attend to those local churches that their population is very less?
Okay. Number one, you can just look at. I think when it comes to the congregants and the religion and the politician, this thing is one, because I think religion started in somewhere in Middle East, and it went to Europe for political purposes, And what was brought to Africa is pure business. We are doing business. So what they brought here, the business, it is nothing else. So even what those pastors are doing, it is only Africa that they are preaching us hope. We are being preached hope. The spiritual part of Christianity is still in Israel until you go there and you pray in the Western Wall, like our Ruto and Raila and our politicians, they go for spiritual nourishment
Yeah.
at Westminster Wall in Israel. What we have here is pure business. So if you see our church leaders and congregants, when accepting that money, they clap. They call it a hope because what we are being preached for is hope. It's nothing spiritual. If you go to even those pastors, if they are sick, they go to Waganga in the village for healing.
Yeah.
Because even the spiritual part of it, I know many of them who goes to other places for spiritual power, not the power at their own altar. So we have hope where if we are made to pray and I believe that you can be poor today and you wake up and knock yourself. I don't know how we can call it in English. Itwanyiriki pesa tomorrow. So you be rich. Yeah, you hit yourself in money and you fall down with money and you found yourself a rich person. That's why many of us, you see many of youths. I had that youth leader. He was saying that they used to be mobilized and being paid. That is normal. And I saw them again, the same man who was here. They are the people who are mobilizing for the Soweto on Sunday.
Actually,
It is still there.
tomorrow also we have one of the
Wajala.
Wanjala. Wanjala will be here tomorrow
Yeah.
from 8. So
I
let's
saw Wajala. I
uh,
saw Wajala. They were there
uh,
with their president.
uh,
They were represented by their president. They were
I had,
given money.
the
Yeah.
president spoke.
Yes, the president of Jacaranda spoke. He was the one who was asking if they were to clean Nairobi River and Sijui do what, the Jacaranda people should be first given the chance. Check for that clip. We'll send it for you. So
Okay.
it is the same. They always say the hyenas, wale, what they change is forest. Yeah. He comes here, he complains. And those people who goes to Mandaman, sometimes I pity them as a fellow young man because they go there, they die for 50 bob, for 100 shillings. Because number one, if Ayaga is given that 100,000 and they know very well that Ayaga is given that money, even me, my security is not safe. What I will do, I will take 60,000. I throw it away. And when they are chasing that money that side, I disappear this side. I will not be with them there for about, I will go underground and disappear because it is them who will look for you, that you never give them the money. So it is a risky game. That's why we as youths, we need empowerment. You know, ASLA was a good thing for Kenya. It was a good when they were talking about it. We were seeing a situation where we can give youths a grant to start their business, like these online businesses, like the people who want to do comedy, they can just buy a phone, have a cheap internet, and then do their things. Even if you are taxing them, at least you give them a leeway of starting their business. But in Kenya, before you start a business, what awaits you is tax, not capital. In Kenya, you don't need to have a capital. You just, even if you want to start a shop in Nairobi, you just need permit. You just ask yourself, permit for Kanjo, permit for Sijui what, permit for ABCD, permit for that. Before you do all the permits, your capital is gone and you will not start that business. That is where the problem starts. And when it comes to the local leaders, I made two statements on my WhatsApp. Many of them are raw people. You will forgive me on this. I told them the other day that Israel is busy fighting Lebanon and Gaza and Iran at the same time, when the raw Israel people are planning kitchen in December. I really tired. They really, they really dealt with me.
So,
Another one that I made is about these local churches. I say, you know, IAIPC, the one Kindiki was in Kirinyaga, is Kikuyu dominated local church. I made that comment that I will see now that the Catholics has refused or declined the money. I want to see if they will refuse that money. And I have a number of them who use my status. They really hit me hard. So
this is the issue. Before I bring in Miguda, even if you look at the trend on how the leaders or the politicians do, what they usually do, they do not go for the commoners. Even in the churches, they tend to go for the people who have positions, and those positions that they have, they're being paid, to sustain their life, because they are preaching the word of God, and from the money that is collected, yeah, they are using that. That is what sustains them, because they don't have any other job in some areas. And this feeling that after giving a pastor a car or doing for him something, then he will bring all the congregants to me. That is exploitation. That is what I think. That is one. Now, you've talked about the indigenous churches, that even the one that the deputy president went. And take, for example, even, let's be very honest with the raw church. If this money, 5 million, imepatiwa pale, ukapatiwa ukaambiwa hii ni ya kujenga nyumba ya huyu pasta wenyu, ya pili pia naona hapa mko na shule kidogo, hii tutawapatia ya uniform, na pia huyo pia atoe, watasema watakataa.
hawawezi kataa. Or is Miguda around?
Yeah, Mikude is around.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you think they will say no?
They can't. They can't. Do you know why they can't?
Yeah.
Even if I started a church today, I need money, either from donors. And in Kenya, the local churches, we see politicians as donors. And that's where the problem is. We have politicians as donors. Politicians are the biggest donors to our local churches. And they use it to manipulate, that is the correct one, to manipulate the people of Kenya. And I think it is high time that church should be left for spiritual and let the politician do their way. But if we will mix the politics and the church, because there is a very big separation between the church and the state, only few countries in the world still have the religion and the civil power. Mostly are Islamic nations, and maybe Vatican only is a Christian state that is run by the Christian values. So I'm saying this, there was a separation between the state and church to bring a difference. But what is happening mostly in Kenya, I don't know why in Kenya, because if you go to Uganda, Museveni don't call himself a Christian. He's not a Christian, he's not a Muslim, he's an African. Same to Kagame. Yeah, even in Tanzania, even if the Suluhu is a Muslim, you will not see him go to this mosque to this mosque doing ABCD. I don't know why it is in Kenya. So we need to rethink our style of politics. And the person who brought that in Kenya, I don't think Kenyatta used to go to churches. It is Moi who started that, even taking a photo with the Bible. And I didn't see, as Kibaki was also a Catholic, I didn't see Kibaki too much in church. Same to Uhuru Kenyatta. He had the separate. When it is time for church, he go to church, he pray, he walked away until they call him a drunkard man. And then we say now the church candidate who used to appear like 3-4 times in a church is now messing the country. It is time for the church to call a spade and bring back the respect we have. You know, after 2022 election, there was a hashtag that we have left the church, but we have not left the God.
Mm.
It is the Gen Z, when the church supported the Gen Z, that actually the church came back to the people. So it is time now for
Okay.
church to sanitize itself.
Gibson Corner, Omosh will be soon. Omosh will be joining us immediately after Wanjala, so we will have to ask him those questions because we also saw the photos. Omosh will be coming. We have agreed with him, and he has agreed to come on the show. So you will be there. So this one brings us to about the the politics, on how the politics has really changed. If you remember, even the first administration, when the President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto came, especially after the Hague, this is when the church issue started to come in. Whereby we are going to pray and God is going to deliver the victory. And where it was also that through building of the churches, yeah, yeah, and that one changed the narrative of politics, where the politics was taken from the fields to the churches, because one, the church was a basic tool to bring in, or to bring population, so that the politician can speak to them. Because you find the politicians keep on quoting Bibles, even the wrong verses, during when they're there, you know, and they've made people believe, yeah, that that this is where the restoration is. Remember, when Baba was being criticized as somebody who doesn't like God, yeah, and to an extent, even Mama Ida was not allowed to speak somewhere with some women. I think it was in Nyeri or where, during the campaigns. Yeah, yeah. So how the politics has really changed, and they've gotten that soft spot, especially for the people. Because take, for example, for Catholics, just to be very sincere, Catholic has population everywhere, including Samburu. There's no any other place that in Kenya where you will not find some Catholic church, and they have population, and there are those women who believe in what the Catholic stands for. So, which means president did not want to lose this population, because this is a very good chunk of votes. So that's why he had to come in and even try to donate, or to clear the air based on what his soldiers were saying about the bishops. Yeah. So I think that one is something that people should have a conversation. It's not wrong to go to church, or it is not wrong to donate. But how do you donate? Yeah. And the priority, if we have students who are not going to school, even there are people, but now you're looking for a father, you want to build a church for a house for him. You know, remember he talked of the road that is like going to heaven. Wamushamba also mentioned about that. This is the head of state, and he's talking about the road. The venye nimeona hii barabara yenyu. Yeah. Miguda, why is it that the Muslim, like the Muslim are not so much featured in President Ruto's administration?
The issue of religion and state, you know, it is a question which has been there from early years, I think around 16th century. This division about state.
Hey, Miguda, his network is kind of like has a problem.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see.
I'm, I'm around.
Yeah, you're around. Your network keep on
Yeah,
coming and going. Yeah. The issue of
I'm saying. So there was this issue whereby you have to separate state and religion. You know, there was a time whereby state used to supersede religion. Whereby, sorry, their religion used to supersede state, and in that case, it was the church. The church was super compared to the state, and people agreed that let us have a common law whereby we have laws that regulate the religion. So the church powers were reduced because there was a time whereby church church culture was incorporated with the state culture. In Kenya here, we have very categorical that there shall be no state religion. Whereby there's no state religion. Kenya is not a state religion. Kenya is a constitutional democracy. And we have states whereby they are led by religion, whereby Islamic State. But here is a scenario whereby they want to make Kenya to be a Christian state by the leaders. They are bringing that Christianity in the country that it is a Christian state. Well, that's why they have been not going to Islamic religion or the Hindus religion. They are strongly in Christian because Kenya the Christian make the higher percentage of the population, and they are targeting Christian in terms of voting. These people are in business and they are doing politics, so they have to go to the Christian churches. That's why they are avoiding the
Mhm.
Muslim. They have quoted church like the Roho, those indigenous churches like Legio Maria, churches like even some of them don't go to SDS because SDS could have done the exact thing what Catholic did by rejecting that money. So they're just focused on those churches whereby they want to make this country to appear that it is a Christian state. But that is in contrary to the provision that it is Kenya is a constitutional democracy, not a Christian state. And the issue of a state hereby, that government form part of the state with the permanent population, with the people of Kenya. So when the government form part of the state, it should exclusively work for the people, and the people also are in those regions, be it Muslim, be it Christians. Remember, during the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, when Ruto went to the AIC in Kilimani, he declared the pulpit that the government will not regulate the religion. The government will not regulate our churches or our mosque or our Hindus operate. That they are going to work independently based on their church doctrine and their fundamental beliefs. That there is not going to be any regulations on how church are going to operate. If he believes in whatever he was saying, then he should also allow that there is inclusion of all religion in the country, and there should be inclusion, be it Muslims, be it Christians, be it Hindus, be it pagans, all those traditions. All of us subscribe to the Kenyan state. We don't subscribe. It is not a subscription whereby a certain quarters of churches or Muslims subscribe to that
uh, Leo,
subscribe. That's I would like
okay. Be good. Okay.
can you hear
You
me?
can you work on your internet? It's buffing. It's you're breaking.
Okay.
So, Mr. Yaga, there's something that also we need to talk about, especially. I know it's a very touchy issues, especially when it comes to religion and the religion um, and the spirituality. You know, and most of the time, um, these that spirituality and the religion, and people tend to believe that the religion was brought to Africa because African had a spirituality, you know. And if you find right now on how even religion are, it bent some of the laws that them themselves they put in place. Yeah, especially when you come even to donation, we're not talking about the donation that the president is doing or is donating to the church, but this one involves all of us, including those who are going to church, you know, and even where even the pastors themselves, that you can have a pastor who is living in an area where there's somebody who cannot go to school and they cannot provide, or their compound is so much secured, you know. Yeah. Is it time that we should investigate and try to have even conversation and bring teachings about our own, the African way of life, even though the world has really advanced? Annie, how are you doing? It's a long time. Where have you been? Ayaga rafiki yako Annie is here.
I'm seeing her.
Umepotelea wapi?
Nimeshindwa, sijamuona for very long time.
What do we need to do? Should we have that conversation about ourselves?
I think, Benson, the fact is, and we must call a spade a spade. If you even look at Uganda, the population in Uganda, almost 98% of them are Christians. But there is a very big distinction between the church and the state. Yeah. If you go to even a country like Somalia, the majority are Muslims, but there is that distinction you can feel. But in Kenya, we want to make as if Kenya is more of Christian nation than the other religion. Let us just bring sanity to our religion side, where we give pastors time to give us their spiritual word, and make politicians avoid such holy grounds to make their malicious moves. Because, number one, politicians need where people are voluntarily. If they were to meet you in a rally, they have to use money to mobilize you. But if there is a certain church you go for a spiritual or nourishment every Sunday, they move there. Now it is the politicians that follows the people to the church to manipulate them. Our politicians should avoid the church. If they come to pray, let them pray just as ordinary Kenyans, and then they walk away. If they want to meet the people, let the same politicians organize rallies so that actually they can do their rallies somewhere else. Let us just avoid the grounds. There is no big deal here. Kenya is no more. Even look at the Muslims. They do politics. But when it comes to the mosque, those are holy grounds. You cannot stand at the mosque and do politics. Let us just tell our politicians the fact. Number one, avoid doing politics in churches. If you go there for pray, let us pray like others and then leave. Avoid funerals, avoid churches.
But Ayaga, you find, even if you say that politicians to avoid the churches, which is true, but what is the congregant, the population? Because the very moment you say that, they will be told, nani apendi Mungu, and that's what happened the last general election. Yeah,
I'm not saying they should not go to church. What I'm saying is one.
The politicking, yeah, they can go to church.
Politics in church is what is wrong. Yeah. Using pulpits to propagate and perpetuate lies and manipulate people by donating corrupt money is the wrong side of it. But going to pray, you can go and pray silently. Ayatollah is the head of spiritual country called Iran. Yeah, we don't see him in every mosque praying with everybody preaching. He only goes there once and make it, and they doesn't even make it public. Even in Saudi Arabia, where we have the prince is the spiritual leader of the country, and the Sunni Muslim. They don't make it so much big deal that if they go to mosque, they have to stand, they have to be given chance to propagate what the government of that country is doing. Let us separate church and the state. The state have the mechanism to communicate to the people, and the church, we go to the church to pray and have peaceful solemn always at the church.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayaga. Makobura, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, good evening. I'm doing good. I can see a good friend, Mr. Ayaga, today in the house. Karibu, Mr. Ayaga.
Watu walikuwa wanasema sauti yake na mwili yake haifanani. Sasa watu walikuwa wanasema ni AI ndio tunatumia kuleta Ayaga.
Yeah, you know the problem is, I think Ayaga is still a young gentleman, but he's very knowledgeable, and he has been blessed by God has blessed him with so much wisdom. So if he talks and before you see who is talking, you might think you're talking to some senior person in the society. But that is a good thing. I've noticed that with most of our brothers coming from Siaya. I think they always spend more of their time getting insight and knowledge from the elder people in the community. It's a good thing, Mr. Eric. And continue in the same spirit. Very soon, we'll be seeking clarity and wisdom, some clarification from you.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. We are just discussing about the donation that was rejected by the church, and people have reacted to it very differently. There are those who are saying the church ought not to have rejected that, and those who are saying the church did a good thing. As somebody who is strong and somebody who is brought up in Catholic faith, you know, you and Ayaga, you share the same faith in Catholic. What is your take on it?
First, I want to applaud my church. We call it Jokoperewe Glory in Luo. I don't know how that is translated to Kizungu. But I want to confess here that I'm also a member of Catholic Church, born and brought up under that church. Miguda here can clarify. You know, we even studied with him in the primary where we were. It was sponsored by Catholic. I went to the high school sponsored by Catholic. Everything. I have brothers and sisters who are Catholic priests and sisters and nuns. So this is a church that I think this is a church where it's okay. This is a church that I know more of what is happening in. And one thing I know about Catholic is that Catholic is one of the richest church in the world. And when it comes to donations, you know, if, for example, we talk about Kenya, you know, the president sometimes back has not been going to Catholic church. Reason being, the Catholic church do not need their donations. Catholic church is the richest church. Whether they give money to the priest or not, the priest will survive. There's a direct way on how they survive. There's a way that everything is channeled. So the president thought that going to Catholic to give 5 million or a donation would then help the priest. And you know, these priests, they are answerable to the bishops who runs the diocese. So even the priest, they are not allowed to handle a lot of money. They are not allowed at the same time to transact on behalf of the church, as much as they've been given privileges. But whatever amount of money they get, they have to declare that. The bishop has to be aware, because that money partly is also being declared. The bishop also has to declare what the diocese gets. So it was a good thing to me that, led by Archbishop Anyolo, who is the head of the Archdiocese of Nairobi, that was a great sign and a sincere move by the Catholic Church, because it shows that truly it is one of the churches that has fought for democracy. It is one of the churches that has stood in front to say no to issues of corruption. It is the church, one of the churches that, has stood to remind the people in leadership that they have a role to play.
Mm.
And among the roles and the teachings of Catholic, for example, the Catholic teaches that you have first to respect life, because life is a sacred thing given just by God. So anyone who is not respecting life, that person goes against the teaching of Christianity first. And anyone who is involving themselves in corrupt dealings are also not doing what is right as per the teachings of the Christianity. And so I am a happy man to say that I'm a Catholic and I like the move, and I would encourage not just Catholic but all other religions. I like the move of the Catholic Church. I've not seen William Ruto going too much to SDA Catholic. Just because he had some problems with Catholic, he's now trying to anajifanya kwamba anasafisha kitu, but it is not a good move. We have shown the way and we will continue showing the way. We will stand by truth. We will stand by the people, and we will continue fighting for the lives of the people of Kenya, no matter what it takes. So I congratulate the people who advised or made the move. It is a good sign. And it also reminds the political class that the religious groups do not actually survive on their what? Their donations, especially these donations that people are not really aware of the origin of these amounts of money. So we are not, our church, Catholic Church, is not sanitizing any corruption or anybody who is coming up with malicious moves. That is my take.
Okay, thank you so much. Ayaga, kuna swali hapa unafaa ulize. Ani anasema Ayaga, mbona hukuenda Soweto tukurushie mawe?
Abia, Ann, I'm too old for those things. Those things I did long time ago.
Okay.
For now, I'm tired. You can't fight for something that is not beneficial for you. As a human being, as a young man, you go there, you risk your life. Number one, you can even be killed in a stampede, not even a bullet from the police, from a stampede. Mnaweza kanyagana huko ujipate umevunja mkono ama mguu. And then at the end of the day, nobody cares for you, and then nobody will pay for your share or shift. So it is a little bit tricky. I was called, I had my intelligence there. I saw the ODM, the Jacaranda people. They were going there. I never went there. I was just somewhere around Savannah there.
Tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow we will be having Wanjala here. So at least tomorrow he can give us the explanation whether he was there and the reason why they were there. So that one will be a very good take tomorrow.
Benson,
Yeah.
do you know why sometimes I disagree with my brothers in Jacaranda?
Yeah.
What politicians love is loyalty. If you call me as Ayaga, I want you to work with me. I need to be very loyal to you and work for you. But most of these, my brother, they are only loyal to money, not anybody. That's why if Oscar Sudi goes there, give them a portion meal, they start preaching the gospel of Oscar Sudi at UDA. And if Kindiki went there and pay for somebody's bill, hospital bill, which is a good thing, they start preaching another gospel. So if Raila goes there tomorrow, Urbabu Wino goes there, that is the gospel they preach for the whole day. Sometimes let us have a common denominator. As young man, what do you stand for in politics? Are you a socialist? Are you a Democrat? Are you whatever? You have to have at least a stand. But what is happening there? Tomorrow you will hear all sorts of blame. I was not there. You never saw me there because so and so was given money and I was not given. So it is so and so. That is what you will hear from tomorrow going onwards.
Talking about having a stand, is that one also what the most of the leaders are? Because like even if you look at all these our political parties, you cannot point out like whether this is a socialist party, whether this is a Democrat or this is what, because their vision they don't have vision because, let's for example, like right now, the ODM is working with UDA. Yeah. So they've come together, which means there's nothing that they stand for. Yeah. And you can even see, remember Opio and I was saying that the church members, they were quiet now when this government is trying to stabilize. Now they are coming up. I heard that and I was saying the expert was talking. So you have to listen when the expert speaks. Now the government has stabilized. Oparanya also has said something that now the government has stabilized. The experts are speaking. So I don't know what can happen about the situations like you're talking about the Jacaranda, and you see what is happening in the political field up there. So it's a reflection of what we have.
Exactly. Exactly. That is actually what we have in Kenya. We don't have political stance. We don't have political ideology. What we have, they should call those things movements. Like ODM is a movement which is good for them. And also, I'm seeing Babu Owino is coming with another movement, and UDA is a movement. Those are not political party. Look at even the parties in United States. They stand for something and they are for something. Like if you go to Democrats in US, there are people who always cause war. They are warmongers. Every time they are in power, they are talking about World War III, World War III, World War III. I think now Trump has come in, we will have those all threats of the breakout of World War III. Yesterday I was doing research and I saw the First World War, when it happens, a Democrat was a president. Same to Second World War, the third and Second World War. Both two presidents, Truman and who? And Roosevelt, I think. They were Democrats. And I'm seeing also every time the Democrats are in power, when Obama was there, we were close to nuclear war than ever. Then came Trump, things went down, even with the North Korean leader, who is aggressive young man. And when the Biden came in, we also saw another, they were pushing us to almost to the brink of war. So actually, what we need to have in Africa, even if you go to UK, there is those socialists and what conservatives, parties must have a stand. But in Africa, maybe the party I'm serving peke yake is the
Yeah.
party that I stand. It is it is only and Chama cha Mapinduzi in Tanzania. And I think because they have not left power, a party, if you want to know party have a stand, let that party form a government and went to opposition and comes again, is when you will know the true characters of a party.
But talking of Chama cha Mapinduzi, the Tundu Lissu Rais, the likes of Freeman Mbowe, they are really criticizing the Suluhu administration.
Yeah, the Suluhu, Chama cha Mapinduzi, they are authoritarians. And if you look at the constitution of that country, they never give opposition a good space to play the politics. It started during the Nyerere. You can't know who was opposition of Nyerere. You can't mention them. But in Kenya, you can say Jaramogi was there opposing Kenyatta. And then when Moi came in, there were likes of Raila Odinga, Mwai Kibaki, people joined hand and there was opposition. But in in Tanzania, you can't recognize opposition. Apart from the Masai one, who almost beat Magufuli.
Lowassa.
The first Lowassa.
But
and
Lowassa was a CCM, but the reason why he left CCM was because he feel he was shortchanged because he knew he was going to inherit the throne from who?
Magufuli.
Not Magufuli, no, from Jakaya. Because yes. So what happened, and Magufuli was less known in the party because he was only a minister. Then in the council, Magufuli became the president, and that one angered Lowassa, and he left. But later he came back,
with Chadema.
Yeah, So we have also people like Freeman Boy. We have people like Zito Kabwe. Zito Kabwe have, I think Zito Kabwe has his own party, but he's also a party that the only place that Zito Kabwe usually has followers is in Kigoma. That is the only place, you know. So anyway,
about Tanzania, there is a quote of President Jomo Kenyatta. You know, Kenyans rarely give the quotes of Kenyatta. I don't know why, because the quotes of Kenyatta are not that much popular. Kenyatta once said that Ugandans are like sick people in ICU. One day they can get well and fight for their rights. And Kenyans are like people who are sleeping. Anytime they can wake and fight for their rights. But Tanzanians are like dead people. They will never wake up and fight for their rights. I don't know true about that. But seeing our brothers in Tanzania, they are never agile to fight for their rights. Even kuambia endeni maandamano ni ngumu sana.
okay, thank you so much. And let's look at, give your views on what yesterday about Matiang'i. People are talking about Matiang'i. Can Matiang'i deliver? Makobura. Okay, Yaga go, then Makobura might come.
Okay, to me, Matiang'i can do a good job. And it is Kenyans who needs Matiang'i. Not Matiang'i needs Kenyans. It is Kenyans who needs Matiang'i. So if Matiang'i comes back, all will be well for us, and we will vote for him.
Do you think he can come back and on how the political usually happens, especially when you are a threat? Hii kamata on your Friday na unatustukia umelala ndani. Makobura, what is your take on Matiang'i?
Okay, I've seen that trend. I've seen people, speaking and giving the opinion on what they think about one Daktari Fred Okango Matiang'i, man from Gusiland. From where I come from and from my beliefs, I believe that he can make a good president. He's someone who has been tested and proven to be a leader. I like the fact that as much as he was accused of corruption, but I still believe that he can change. I believe that from the way he has behaved, from the way he has handled things when he was in government, I believe he's the only person who can fix this country. And I believe that if given the opportunity and with the help of serious cabinet secretaries and him being the supervisor, the president, I believe that Fred Okango Matiang'i can make a good president. My prayer is that if he can team up with the likes of Babu Owino, Ndindi Nyoro, and young politicians, especially these who understands what the youths are going through, these politicians who have shown some, good understanding of what leadership is. We don't want him to get, close to old politicians, those who have been in the stage for more than 20 years and have done nothing. So, he has never gone for any elective post, but him coming away from the political scene, I believe that is not what we really need now. Is that the country is not in a good place. We need someone who can fix the problems that we are currently having. We need someone with a commanding voice, someone mwenye akiongea watu watasikiza. We need someone who is not going to entertain lazy cabinet secretaries or lazy members of parliament. We need someone who is aggressive when it comes to leadership, someone who can give commands and follow up. We don't want someone who has been in politics for more than 20 or 10 years. We want people like Omtata to be in that government, just as my dear good friend, our dear good friend Judith is saying at the comment section. This way, possibly we are going to get to a point where the problems that we are currently having and facing as a country are going to be solved. Because if we continue with this trajectory, all political class we bringing back the likes of Kalonzo and coming back with all those political rejects and conmen who have ever been, on the political limelight, is not going to solve the problems that we have. William Samoei Ruto Daktari has messed us as a country, and the country is currently dragging behind. By now, it should be at least in top 10 in Africa. But he has gotten us out of position, top 10. Hata Tanzania hapa wameanza kutushinda. Juzi hapa unaona, sometimes back we used to have, until last year, the country that we were doing so many trades, with I think it was Uganda, but we've realized that even Uganda itself, most of its import, the business that they were doing in the country, we were the number one country that we were trading with ilikuwa Uganda, but along the way we are seeing Tanzania has even taken our place, whereby they're now one of the countries that are producing and taking more goods to Uganda. This is a threat to us as a country. What we need to do is to look at the leadership of a country, and that is where we are lacking as a country, because we've given good people, learned, we've given doctors a chance to lead us, but the problem we're making is we are giving those who are born, raised in politics, and raised by godfathers who are not really good mannered, the likes, I don't want to mention them. We've been seeing political class who have maintained being politician. It's like politicking is like their profession, and that is where we've messed as a country. So what we are asking or requesting the people of Kenya is that we consider giving a chance to people who have not been in the limelight and the political stand for quite some time, and that way possibly we will make it to the right place. I believe Matiang'i is one of the best. I believe he has the character similar to the late president of Tanzania, Daktari Pombe John Magufuli, who ensured that Tanzania got to a point where the people can now speak about Tanzania. And that is why, from my analysis and what I've seen, Daktari Matiang'i is the next John Pombe of Kenya, and he can deliver. If asked to give him a chance, I'll not think twice. I'll make that decision once without thinking twice. That is my take. Miguda, you may also give us your view. I don't know whether you had given your view on that.
I already given my view about the issue for Kengo Matiang'i. There are so many things I haven't given my view. I do tend to disagree with Okengo Matiang'i. When we want to overhaul the whole system, we need to overhaul it wholly. Okengo Matiang'i, sometimes he presided over the previous administration. And there was a time when he was the cabinet secretary for the internal security. And he executed members of the public through criminal justice system, whereby there were some people who were abducted. And also he presided over the killing of Kenyans at River Yala who were being killed and dumped in River Yala. So Kengo Matiang'i is not, I don't believe that is also good to take the country forward, because even if he was the CS for the internal security, he was taking instruction from the people who are responsible. And there were some atrocities which were committed to Kenyan people. Up to now, the people.
I agree with you, my brother, Mr. Miguda, and I'm not disputing anything. But I think the only point that I'm having a different opinion is, in the government of one Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, we had not one cabinet secretary, but we have a good number. And so Remember, all of them were getting instructions from the president. And we, the people of Kenya, we vetted, and at least when we try to analyze among the cabinet secretaries who worked exemplary well, Fred Okengo Matiang'i was number one. That's a fact from what the people of Kenya used to see. He got to the education docket, he transformed it, got to which docket, at least there was some transformation that we saw as a people. And that is something that we've missed for quite some time. I'm quite sure that when before he came in, we had problems with the KCSE, and I believe you were also affected by the previous government, those who used to be in that, in that docket. The only time that we saw a true reflection or a good time where students would say that things were okay, it was the time when Matiang'i took over. And at least there's a good number of things that policies that he brought forth that we're still seeing. Remember the things like the yellow coloring of school buses. You see, it's something that we can see when you talk about. There's a good. I think there is more of positive things that he did, but again, it is right to mention that politicians are politicians, and we may not expect them to do like everything perfectly. He messed. I'm not saying he didn't mess, but I believe and I saw that he messed. But one thing that we need, why I mentioned him, is because, if you can remember what was happening in the education sector, it was not easy. Things were really tough. And there were a lot of conmen and, cartels in that docket. And we saw him, he cleared all the cartels. That is a reflection that if given the authority to run the whole country, he can do it. Remember, at the same time, in that time, there were so many cabinet secretaries, but most of them were not really performing well. Someone else who also did a good job was one Mutai, the cabinet secretary of health, if you can remember. He was a cabinet secretary at a time where Kenya needed someone who would sympathize and encourage them, because what had befallen the world was a serious thing. And he was one of those people who performed well as ministers. And if you ask me if the likes of Mutai Kagwe would be given, if we could give them a chance as a people, then I would automatically say yes. So I agree with what you're saying, but I don't really think if politicians, they can misbehave, they do misbehave, yeah. But at least there's some positive things that we can get from him. Because currently, if we try to analyze the people who are there, the likes of Kalonzo is a soft guy. We don't think he can give authority to people and people would follow. William Ruto had a good character. We believe that he would tell a cabinet secretary or someone or any head of the docket to do something and they would do. But what we've seen is we are not really sure what is happening. It could be that the cartelism, you cannot give orders if you yourself are a cartel. It can never work. So that is what we are seeing in this government. William Ruto has the voice to tell the people to stop engaging in what they are engaging in, but he has not done that. Reason being, it could be benefiting. So I think that is my slight difference on what you are saying, but you can as well proceed and convince me and our viewers. But I know people have different opinion. Even at the comment section, I can see people having a different opinion. I don't know whether you've frozen because I can't see you moving. Are you there? I think he's having a problem with his network. Yeah, so anyone at the comment section, I can see Gypsy Corner saying, I don't know that Eric was assistant executive there. Ndio tunataka Matiang'i adil mpaka na Shakahola decisively. I think Annie is also agreeing with what my thinking. I believe Matiang'i can be a good person. I believe he can lead. I believe he has what it takes to bring back the country from its rails or grails. And he's saying alikuwa assistant executive. Okay, I don't know what. I think you're engaging Mr. Ayaga at the comment section. As I'll be waiting slightly for Mr. Migura. I don't know. I think he has a problem with his network. But I also want to take this opportunity to say thank you to our viewers, Judith Karuita, actively engaging, Brenda Obedi, Gypsy Corner. I can see Annie at the comment section. Eric was here, but Seba Ndwari, asante sana. And anyone at the comment section, if you have something that you want to share with us, you can as well. Ayaga, Annie is requesting you to come back to the studio. Kindly confirm if you can manage to come. Yes, Mr. Migura, I think you had a problem with your network and it just dropped. You were giving your opinion on Matiang'i at cut you. Maybe you can proceed.
You cut me, but in the process of cutting me, you have also added me some more point to further my submission. You know, when you talk about issue of Okengo Matiang'i, even me, I'm not in dispute of whatever you are saying, but there is something that we have to agree on, that not only Matiang'i transform the education system. When it comes to the transformation of the education system, I still give it to the late Professor Magoha. Magoha did more work compared to Matiang'i, because even Magoha introduced so many reforms in education sector. There's one thing that Matiang'i did, and the issue of exam cheating. He tried to give us temporary solution to that problem. Remember, the exam is still people are still cheating in exam even to date, even after he left. So if he could have brought the permanent solution to the exam cheating, we could have given him that one. But Mago also tried the education sector. You talk about Mutahi Kagwe. Mutahi Kagwe thrived only because of the COVID-19. If COVID-19 could not be around, Mutahi Kagwe could have not been known by even some people, because during the COVID-19, many organizations pumped in funds into the health sector. One of the organizations, even from the United Nations, that is World Health Organization, pumped some funds and some medics equipments, and you know the story of KEMSA. Those issues only arise because of the COVID-19. Even the government put its focus on the Ministry of Health. But when you talk about reforms in health sector, Mutahi Kagwe did not bring so much reforms in the health sector. He left the health sector. That's why we are still struggling with this issue of the universal health coverage. Because if at all he could have put more effort on the implementation of the universal health coverage, we could have not been where we are today. So I still don't believe that those two guys can move the country forward when given an opportunity to rule this country, even though their names are coming on top. But I don't believe that they can come. Politics, you must start early, and we have not seen them even stretching the field. We have not seen them around. You can't come 2 years to election, then you expect to win and become the president of the Republic of Kenya. We need to see you on the ground. We need to feel you as the people. We need to see you on the mainstream media. Because how are you going to persuade people that people people don't even believe in the history of a leader? Whatever you did, people don't buy those ones. People are real. They want to view you on your real time. That's why William Ruto sometimes do persuade many people to follow him, because he's acting on the real issues at the current time. Not that he cannot come and appeal to you that when I was the Minister for Higher Education, I did this. When I was the Minister for Agriculture, I did this. When I was the Deputy President, I did this. People tend to hear from you whatever you are promising currently and whatever you're going to do for them in the future. So if those guys who are being propelled, if they are at all they are serious candidates, they need to come to the field so that they can start early campaigns so that you can fill them. The people can also hear from them. But you cannot be proposed in your house, then you expect to come and take the country forward. That one is going to be impossible.
Okay, I want to disagree with you, my brother. And I'm directing this question to you. What does the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya say about when campaigns should be started? That is number one. Something else that I want to disagree with you is the fact that you're saying if someone is interested in presidency or any leadership position in the Republic of Kenya, then they ought to be in the field telling the people of Kenya what they want as early as now. And that is the problem that we've been having as a country, whereby we elect leaders and immediately they get into office, they start campaigning for the next election. And during these times, they tend to spend a lot of their time, you know, siphoning money and trying to make money so that they can come in and use the money to bribe the people. So I'm partly disagreeing with the fact that we need to do or start our campaigns early. And I also want to disagree with the fact that anyone who is interested in politics or political position should come early and start convincing the people of Kenya. I'm having a different opinion because I believe that these are the things that we are fighting as a country. And because of this stance where we've given the opportunity to leaders or we have encouraged them to get into political campaign mode early enough, those are the things that has made us to suffer. Something else is that if we allow these people to start campaign early, they will need a lot of money. That is where they stand to come in and then start getting into corrupt dealings because they need money to sustain the early campaigns. They need money to start moving around. And so on that point of coming out early to start the campaign, I'm disagreeing. And also, we, the youth of the Republic of Kenya, remember we are riding on a slogan that we are not tribeless. And first, we don't even care who is coming in, so long as we've seen a sign that they can deliver. And that is the reason why, if you can remember, there was a list of people who were proposed, Matiang'i being included. The Busia senator was also one of them. The reason why these names were being raised, and you are aware, is because we didn't really want to look at tribe. We didn't really want to look at what they have, but what we saw is a capability of them, the leadership gifts in them, and that is why we singled them out. So if we get out of this slogan, then we are going to miss, you know, we are going to miss the way because we are going to end up to a point where giving we'll be giving time and we will be listening to the existent politicians, those who have been here for quite some time, the likes of William Ruto, Kalonzo, na wale wote. If you don't fight now to give room to new people with fresh blood, those who have not been in the limelight for quite some time, then I believe we are going to miss the point. That is my take. You can give
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you, and You are entitled to your opinion. But if you could have heard from me, I said that in the real time, and I was of the realistic part of it. Whatever you have said, that is what the law said. I'm not in dispute. That is what the law said. But it is what it is on the ground. Is it real that we do our campaigns 6 months to election? Is it on the practical part of it? That is not what is happening. People do start campaigns early in the country. So if you said whatever the law is said, which we are not in dispute, but also you must view what actually happens. The other one, we have said that the Gen Zs are tribeless or are leaderless. That is correct. But on the realistic part of it also, if you bank on the Gen Z constituents, that the Gen Z constituents are going to make the decisions at the ballot. Currently, even the Gen Zs are not united. And how sure are you that the Gen Zs are going to register as voters in the coming election, that all of them are going to register as voters in the forthcoming election? So if you bank on the Gen Z constituents, you are likely to miss it, because even currently, if you look at the register, those who are registered, some of the Gen Z form part and parcel of that constituency. So you need to bank on the constituents, be it millennial, be it Gen X, be it even, do not only bank on the Gen Z constituents, that the guidelines to our forthcoming elections are going to be determined by Gen Z. Some of them might not going to be registered. Some of them might leave the course on the way. They might not go on with the course. And some also might decide to join other political parties. As you have seen, some people are realigning from the Gen Zs, those people who are portrayed to be Gen Z leaders. People like Caswell have gone to ODM. People like Anifa are warming for Wiper. Some comrades are in the UDA. Some people, so there's no guarantee that the Gen Zs are going to make you the president. That is also we must take to consideration. That's why I say that it is true whatever you have said, but when it comes to the applicability in the real ground, that's not what usually happens. So even if you're a politician, you must realign yourself or you must align yourself with the reality on the ground. I wanted to say something about the issue of the expert. Before I came in, you were talking about the issue of the expert who were donated to the government. Today, when I was beginning this show, I said that I was at Cyber Cafe. When I went to Cyber Cafe, and I met some old men and women who were struggling to register SHA and SHIF. They were struggling to register that SHA and SHIF. So I went ahead and asked them that you are in the broad-based government. Are you the broad-based government by will, or you are forced? And a certain old grandma told me that we are in the broad-based government because we have been forced to be there. We are not in the broad-based government by our own will or consent. And I asked them that I was with a certain brother of mine. We were three of us. And the people whom I worked with, I told them the opinion of the people, the opinion of the old grandma and these old people. These are the real opinion of the people. So do not go to the mainstream media or newspaper and purport to the people that the broad-based government is popular. The people are saying that they are forced, they have been coerced into that broad-based government. And that's a reflection of the ordinary voters. Then when we were leaving Cyber Cafe going outside, the person I worked with told them that I'm going to come back in 2027 to run with the UDA ticket. And we were in the ODM stronghold, where we were doing our stuff in the Cyber Cafe. It's more of an ODM stronghold. So, and even the MCA is an ODM, the MP is an ODM, women rep ODM. Senator, ODM, all sorts of leaders are from ODM. Then he asked them, remember they have objected to the broad-based government. Then he told them that I'm going to come back with UDA and I'm going to remove the current MCA. Then all of them objected him that no, here you can't win with UDA, yet it's ODM. Then we asked them simple question. If you have said that you have been forced into the broad-based government and you are leaders in that government, why is that when I'm coming with the UDA, you are objecting my views? So that's a reflection of an ordinary viewer of the average voter, that they, with them, they not even understand the structure, they don't understand even the broad-based government, but to an extent they can vote for you if you are in the dominating party in that region without looking at the repercussions of this broad-based government. So that's how I wanted to bring the issue of this party structure and party belief. The issue we talk about the Democrats, the Republican, the socialites, and the capitalists. So that is the real reflection on the ground. Back to you, Makubura.
Okay, thank you. I can see a comment from Gypsy Corner. I don't know whether anasema ya kwamba if I know a leader maybe I have in mind. I don't know anamaanisha nini. Have you got someone in mind? Politicians or people that we can give a chance. I think there's a good number of people. Kenyans, we've got great people. We've got great people who have, you know, shown leadership skills. We've got great people who have, no matter we are in a pool of, corruption. We have a good number of people who have committed to themselves that they're going to have a straight, a mind that is free from being corrupted. We've got a number of people who. Okay, there's a question here. I believe people should should vote someone from their own region or grassroots, someone who is already known by their area. But that is what we've been doing, Gypsy Corner. But that is what has messed us. I think that is what has messed us, because even the president is someone who is known from a region, from the grassroots, and he's messed us. So what we need to do is, the people who have ever been given, a chance to lead. And that is why we are mentioning the likes of Matiang'i. These are people who have never been elected, but when they were given a chance to lead certain dockets, they showed a good leadership skills. Not just him, the likes of the late Magoa, as my brother here had mentioned. There's a good number. There are even members of parliament or senators who have shown to the people that they will stand with them and that they will ensure they follow the law and they respect the people. So our point is, kuna watu wengi ambao wanaweza ongoza, kuna watu wengi ambao wameonyesha uzoefu na tena wameonyesha, they've shown good characters and they've shown that they can be good leaders. So I believe we need to give them a chance, but we are still doing a good vetting. We had started vetting, especially those names that had been forwarded by the people. And that is why we are talking about issues to do with Matiang'i over here. I will have a different opinion from my brother here, but that does not mean that we are against one person. We're just trying to have this discussion so that the people would think about what has been brought forth. If it is Matiang'i, let us analyze Matiang'i from head to toe. Let us talk about the positive and the negative things that he did. And from there we can evaluate and say that from all this analysis that we've done, we've seen that the negativity part of his leadership skill uh, is more than the positivity side. That way, we will say that hapana huyu tuweke kando. So that is what we need to do as a people, and possibly we will get to a point where we'll have a good leader, a leader who would understand, a leader who would ensure that the voices of the people are heard, the people are respected, a leader who would recognize the fact that they are servants of the people. I think that is my take. Miguda, maybe if you have something to add before I give you a chance to give your last remarks.
The issue of voting people from your own region or grassroots, someone who's already known to their area. There are those people who are taking advantage of that viewpoint that they tend to dominate the region to an extent that even if you have a divergent opinion or if you have a new idea to the people, they will not allow you to go and penetrate their region. They are dominant to an extent that they, even if they are doing wrong things, there is no way you can criticize them. There's no way you can make your ways to those regions. But those are the people majorly in the village ward level. They make sure that they resonate so well with the ground that even when you come from town or from the city, you want to go and maybe run for those positions back at home. They will not allow you. They will come with the propaganda that those people in Nairobi, they should stay in Nairobi. So that's how they have been getting rid of good leaders, and they have remained dominant, doing nothing for the people. So the issue of those people who are well known, sometimes also you should give space to a new idea. And always a new idea gives always a way to a better idea. So by giving a new idea a chance, sometimes you can get rid of these bad leaders in the grassroots level or at the regional level. This issue of dominant is, to me, it appeared to be more of a despot. Someone does not want to get out of power. You know, these days of MCAs, MPs, senators, and women rep, they do not have term limit. So if someone has become dominant, for example, there was a certain MPU rule for in the constituency for like 35 years. So the question is 35 years, someone is going to be member of parliament, and there's no subject, there's no way he has chaired any cabinet in the parliament. There's no way he had even appeared top 10 of the best performing MPs, and he has served that constituency for the last 35 years because he has not allowed a room for a new idea, any better idea, or any leader. And when he was defeated in the primaries, he came back with an independent and he was defeated in the general election. The current MP in that constituency right now has made sure that there is construction of roads in those areas, there is construction of dispensaries. So the question could be, what was this person doing in that constituency for 35 years? And even if you go to the Hansard in the National Assembly, there are no records of him speaking in the parliament. That is a disgrace. So this issue of dominant, my view is more of a we are creating small despots at ward level, at constituency level, and people are concentrating about the despot at the national level. That's idea should not be there. Makubura, back to you.
Okay, I agree with you. And we understand that the problem that we are having as a country, more of it is because when giving a chance to political leaders or leaders, we've not really looked at what they're able to do, but we've looked at what they have financially. We've looked at how convincing they are. We've looked at where they're coming from, whether they're coming from a wealthy background. Actually, that is what we've considered as a people. We've also looked at the tribe, and I think those are the things that has messed us as a country. We need to accept the fact that we have to go over this, and going over this would mean that we need to start making the right decisions that will save us from the crisis that we are having as a people. Maybe your last remarks to the people of Kenya and those who are watching and to our viewers.
My final thought to the people of Kenya and our viewers. The people of Kenya, like we have said, and we know very well, they are resilient people, they are hardworking people, they are cooperative people, they are united. The problem only comes in when the issue of politics arises, whereby our own leaders from the regions do divide us along tribal line for their own benefit, for them to thrive, because our division is what makes them to thrive even in the bargaining of those political seats. So the people of Kenya must always make sure that even though we have the leaders have differences in the ideology or in the way of looking at things, we should remain united, because whenever there is a increment in the taxation, it affects everybody. It doesn't affect the people from certain tribe or certain region. People suffered. Even there's an increment in the fuel, it also affects people in the transportation, and all of us are victims of the transportation. Kenya, we are, like we have said, is a great nation and a great country in terms of geographical and also in terms of climatic region. Therefore, we should make sure that we protect our country, we remain patriot to our country, we remain vigilant, and make sure that anything that can cause division to the people of Kenya is something that is an enemy to each and every population of each nation in the country. And the people of Kenya also should also be aware of the bad politics, the current politics of whereby the current politicians have successfully managed to incorporate their politics with the church, whereby they are going to church and they are being given pulpit to even respond to the critics which were made outside the churches, critics that were made, even they introduced the issue of legislation in the church, the issue of executive in the church, some to an extent of discussing the judiciary in the church. Kenya should be aware and seize that politics, and even if they are going to those churches, they should listen to them, but they should not applaud them, they should not cheer them, they should just go to church and concentrate on worshiping and not concentrate on the politicians. Because currently the people of Kenya are not the economy is not doing much better. People are suffering, and we inherited this problem from the previous regime. So going forward, as the people, let us also be very reasonable and rational when it comes to voting, and we make sure that we vote for the rightful people. We'll have a chance in the forthcoming election. So when we got that chance, let us use it wisely, because it's going to affect our lives and the life of the future generation for the next 5 years, so that we cannot come into these problems we are facing currently. Anyway, bye-bye. See you next time. Back to you, Studio Makubura.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguda. To our viewers, I'm taking this opportunity to really thank you. Those of you who found time to be with us and to comment at the comment section, tunashukuru sana na tunaomba ya kwamba mwendelee na hiyo moyo wa kukuwa na sisi na kutusupport. To our new viewers, I am taking this opportunity to welcome you to the Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. We are kindly requesting you to subscribe if you've not subscribed, na tutashukuru. It is a way of supporting us as a channel. We'll really be grateful. Tomorrow, our brother said that we are having a guest, right? Yeah, so tomorrow we'll be having a guest from Jacaranda. Hopefully we request. Okay, yeah, Mr. Wanjala from Jacaranda. We are requesting our viewers to kindly join us tomorrow, as we'll be engaging the guest from Jacaranda. I've seen so many questions at the comment section about Omosh and what the moves that they're making as the people of Jacaranda. Maybe it would be a good time to ask those questions tomorrow as we wait for the guest that we'll be having tomorrow. I'm taking this opportunity to wish you all the best, to wish you a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening. And thank you so much, and may God bless you. Until tomorrow, asanteni sana na Mungu abariki.